Every week,
Reduce 911, where's your emergency?
almost 3 Hampton Roads residents are killed.
I'm totally concerned about what's going to happen next.
Parents don't know when the kids walk out the door if the child's going to come back home.
Can the epidemic be reversed?
People are ready to give up.
10 on your side went searching for answers.
Why the violence? Why the crime? Why the drugs?
And found there are people working to make a difference.
People do care where they live.
Working to combat crime.
The future is in our hands.
Working to take back their community. And good evening, I'm Tom Shad.
And I'm Anita Blanton. A month ago, 10 on Your Side began a journey unlike any other. We wanted to know what was being done to combat crime.
We called the initiative Taking Back the Community. Every day in July, 10 on Your Side's Jason Marks brought you stories of your neighbors making a difference on the streets.
I wanted to show you, in my own way, crimes are not just about numbers. In this way, you know what's at stake.
It is a pain that it never goes away.
These are the faces of heartbreak.
I've never thought I would endure anything like this.
Sons, daughters, mothers, and fathers. They make up the 66 people murdered so far this year in Hampton Roads.
Lillian Bond was shot and killed in Norfolk, simply taking out the trash. Hampton's Alex Blizzard was found dead inside his car. And then there's this smiling face, 17-year-old Jermel Hayes.
He was loved, he's missed, you know, he's thought about every day.
I asked Anita Gonzalez to meet me in the place where her son took his last breath.
It hurts, you know, it really hurts.
This is the first time she's been here since. You can sense her sadness.
I just never thought I would come back, you know.
Hayes was shot and killed in Newport News along Deputy Lane at a place meant for children.
I know he was here, whoever he was here with, he trusted.
I was surprised what Gonzalez told me. She moved her children to a safer area, sent her 3 boys to private school, and yet tragedy still found her.
It's a pain, it's a hurt that is never going to go away.
And families are feeling that pain again and again.
I don't want this to happen to anybody else, you know.
On average, 11 people have been killed every month in Hampton Roads since January. That's almost 3 a week. Police say there have been more than 200 violent crimes reported in that same time period. I wanted to know, why is it happening so often?
And it used to be where kids in high school go around the corner, you know, they fight it out and then it's over. They shake hands, they walk away. Now it's all about violence.
Professors say crime comes and goes, but pinpointing the cause and solutions, well, that's no easy task, as I learned.
Well, if I had the answer, I'd probably be out of a job, I guess.
However, I was struck by several things. There are people out in the community working to make a difference.
One more time. You got to think.
Duke McCaskill and his wife have dedicated their lives to teaching virtues in Newport News.
How about cooperation? What is cooperation?
They focus on the young.
Compassion. She said compassion.
Because as I found out, many in the community believe it could be too late to change anyone over 18.
The youth is where we need to start. I mean, now and going forward.
What saddens me the most is knowing there is no quick fix.
People say, well, where do you start? You have to start somewhere.
If everyone in the community, along with law enforcement, interact with each other, that's going to make the greater impact.
The hope is to create a world with less of this.
I would love to know what happened.
Less interviewing mothers with no answers, and less seeing shattered families on TV.
Just got to keep remembering all the good times. You all right? You'll be okay. We're here for you. You're crying.
I've done stories on many of these faces you see here. And just like their families, we at 10 on Your Side don't want to see any new photos added.
So we have to do something. Something has to happen.
And guys, when we started this at the beginning of July, we had 66. Now that number is 73. We had 7 more people lose their lives, 7 more families here in Hampton Roads who lost loved ones. That's obviously about 3 a week here in Hampton Roads, 3 homicides a week, way too many.
Absolutely. It's hard to hear that. And I think it's important to keep in mind, too, that since the beginning of July, we've also heard from people in the community that want to put an end to all of this violence.
And you've talked to several groups, Jason. Did anyone stand out to you?
You know, we've seen a lot of people doing good things. But you know what really made an impact was knowing that teens are out there doing things to make a difference in the community.
Oh, God.
Stepping out into the heat.
We're headed over to Young Terrace.
And into the Norfolk streets.
Just so we can build with our community.
Teenagers are doing their part to fight crime.
We're Teens with Purpose. We're located in this teen center right over here.
As you heard, they call themselves Teens with a Purpose.
This is our Hello campaign, so we're just going out in the community.
And their mission is to make the community a better place.
Well, the more and more we create relationship, the less and less there is for crimes to happen. It's going to be an awesome experience.
The teens go door to door, selling their message.
Thank you. Something positive.
It feels good because these are real people. It's not the stuff that you see on TV. It just feels good to have real conversations and to really break those barriers.
And they do this every Monday in areas that are most at risk for crime.
We do it as often as possible because we want to engage this community. We want to let people know that we're here, that we're present, that young people aren't just out here, you know, with idle time, but that we're actually putting our passions to work.
I want to give you also one of these as well.
Diana Lee knows these streets. She knows what she's doing is so important.
Everything helps. Maybe not like, maybe it's not big or maybe people don't see it, but everything helps. Like this is what really makes a difference.
The teenagers look to recruit other children into joining their group. When they're not out here, they're at the center discovering talents.
We want to get the little kids into art, singing, dancing. If they're good artists, we give them spaces to draw. We do everything that we can to let them know that you have a gift, you have a talent, you have something that we can pour into. We want to watch you grow.
So these teens will continue to walk and knock until things get better.
You bring the community together, that's what it's about.
So how amazing are those teens? You know, Teens with a Purpose, it's a nonprofit organization. They've been around for 20 years serving the community. They really do a great job.
All right, thanks, Jason. And Teens with a Purpose, they aren't the only group working in neighborhoods. Chesapeake residents are coming together under one simple idea.
It's called the broken windows theory, a concept that if you can create an environment where people care for their neighborhoods, it will deter crimes from happening. 15 Chesapeake officers and dozens of citizens take to the streets once a year for a week to help residents in need. The hard work not only creates a better neighborhood, but also creates a sense of duty among its residents.
When you know, everything is cleaned up and people in the community feel more safe. They'll get out and about. They'll do more things. They'll get involved. You'll see more people playing at the park.
Virginia Beach also has a yearly Serve the City.
After the break, one man says using words is the key to making his neighborhood a better place.
Plus, see what happens when Jason takes on a Portsmouth police officer for some one-on-one and how playing hoops can make a major difference when it comes to community policing.
And later, a look at the victims of violence this year when Taking Back the Community returns.
You're watching 10 on Your Sides, Taking Back the Community.
Values like patience are often taught to us when we're young, but a man in Newport News is dedicating his life to making sure kids take them to heart.
In a Newport News area known for words like,
"Hi, everybody."
Hi.
Murder.
I let nothing stop me from keeping my word.
Robbery.
Virtue is the good stuff in us.
And dangerous. One man and his wife are looking to change the vocabulary.
Generosity.
Compassion.
She said compassion.
Reverend Duke McCaskill is using words through his Royal Virtues Posse to save lives.
It takes the village with virtues to save a child.
For almost 2 decades, the McCaskills have mentored not only children, but also their parents.
The most important job of parents is to pass basic virtues on to their children and learn the language of integrity. And we said, wow, this is what's missing.
The program seems to be working.
Can't stop smiling.
Just ask 15-year-old Isaiah Smith, who's been in the posse since he was 9.
I don't think I would have the character traits that I do now. I don't think I would have this job.
Smith has no relationship with his mother, doesn't even know his father's name, and yet he's found the right path.
Instead of cussing, saying words of virtue. Instead of shooting, go to the park. Instead of fighting, play basketball.
It's not only been fulfilling for Smith,
I usually love waffle fries with Chick-fil-A sauce and Polynesian.
but also for the two people who now watch like proud parents.
He's like one of ours, you know, we're like mama and papa.
Which brings us back to the next generation.
That it is good, being compassionate, loyalty, kindness.
Who are already memorizing
You got it. Walk, walk, walk.
a few special words.
Virtues. Virtues. Virtues is the what good stuff in us.
The McCaskills mainly focus their efforts on Hampton and Newport News, but they would like to expand.
Oh, we have more of our favorite stories to share with you, including a Portsmouth police officer who's scoring big points in his city. Find out why he's shooting hoops and hoping for change.
How do you think you guys are doing? I think we're doing okay. There's always more that we can do. There's always more work that needs to be done. This is a long-term solution. This is not something that you're going to be able to do overnight. So this is the grind of police work and community policing. It is something we have to do on a constant basis.
Jason Mark, they're pounding the pavement, talking with Norfolk Police Chief Mike Goldsmith.
Yeah, a lot of walking. In the past month, we highlighted those in the community and police departments who want to make a difference, like Portsmouth Police Officer Sean Lewis, who's doing his part.
Portsmouth Police Officer Sean Lewis doesn't shy away from his confidence.
Have you ever seen any more of a pure shooter than right here? Yeah, when I look in the mirror.
But what happens when he goes one-on-one with a goofy reporter?
It'll be quick, first to 5.
Forget the fact that he's playing in a uniform and I'm in tennis shoes.
This is something that a lot of people haven't seen before.
No, not my basketball game, but what the officer's doing in the community. Whenever he has time, he gets out of the car.
You got that one?
And takes the court with neighborhood kids.
A few officers back in the day said they used to do this back in the 80s, and they stopped. So I figured why not restart it back up.
Lewis decided not to just stand on the sidelines.
So I have to make a sole investment in a community that I serve in.
SWAT officer by night, role model by day. Lewis knows one might be more important than the other.
Parents that come out love it. The churches that come out love it. The kids love it.
Lewis even started having Saturday community games throughout the summer. By the way, I'm keeping it close.
Yeah! Game ain't over yet.
Well, not that close.
It's gonna go in a second.
And it did.
Exercises.
Score 1 for the officer.
Coming to play? Come get some. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you got.
Just like the Pied Piper, neighborhood kids join in.
There you go.
He's showing officers are people too.
So therefore, whenever they have an issue, they can definitely come to us.
It's a victory today, but Lewis knows there's a long way to go.
My goal is turn any negative into a positive.
Such interaction there with everything that we've seen in the news lately, the rising tensions nationwide. Community policing, it is more important than ever.
So right, for the kids, seeing the officers in the neighborhoods, playing basketball, joking around with them, it fosters a greater sense of community.
Yeah, there are the words again. Community policing. I can tell you in Newport News, officers are working hard to get to know the people that they protect.
We'll never rest until crime keeps dropping. I mean, you never, in my business, declare victory, or because crime is a social disorder and we're in the business of addressing it. But I think as an organization, we're making some progress, connecting a little bit, getting officers out of their cars, talking with people, getting involved.
Now, throughout the entire month, we got emails from you at home wanting to help and take back your community. But it was one email that we received from a teen in Newport News that really caught my eye. He lost 4 friends to violence and decided enough was enough.
Death is coming.
At some point, we will all end up here.
People should prepare for it.
But there's some deaths that happen too soon.
When it becomes an act of violence, the reality hits them entirely different.
It's a grave reality for employees at Green Lawn Memorial in Chesapeake.
They're laying more and more victims to rest.
We don't want to see those kinds of tragedies.
In a Newport News cemetery 25 miles away.
You know, I would never thought that somebody I know would have died the way they died.
That reality hits too close to home for 18-year-old Juwan Moore.
It's heartbreaking. You know, I went to one of their funerals, and the cry of their mother just broke everybody's heart.
Moore lost 4 friends in the past 2 years.
It's like an everyday thing. Somebody's dying.
This is only the second time he's been back at his friend's grave. 17-year-old Adonis Turner, who was shot and killed at his Hampton home after a knock on the door 2 years ago.
It was like a nightmare, just having a whole family at home, and someone ring your doorbell and gun your child down.
Chastity Turner still replays that nightmare over and over. The moment when Adonis took his last breath.
The last words that that Adonis said to me, and it was basically, "Mom and Dad, I'm going home to where I belong."
Comforting words for a mother. But it's not for a friend who can't rest easy.
A mother shouldn't have to bury their child every other day.
Moore has decided enough is enough. He started a group called Taking Back Our Youth and organized a youth rally next month to bring awareness to gun violence.
Usually when you see these events, there are older people doing it. You don't really see a younger person stepping out and saying that it's time for a change.
Moore doesn't want to see any other young people end up here. He believes if there are teens that won't listen to adults, maybe they'll listen to other teens.
So the first step is we have to bring it to their attention.
The loss has to end up somewhere. And at the bottom of a giant hole isn't the answer.
That would be a good deal. If the victims never ever had to come back through, that would be wonderful.
Moore's event is planned for August 27th in Newport News. You can find more about it on wavy.com.
Now, this next story is pretty interesting, too. A Hampton resident, Margaret Eady, recently made news for getting arrested at the Capitol Rotunda for protesting against gun violence.
That's right, but Jason actually interviewed her before she went to D.C. and got an inside look at how she turned her grief into a plan.
You can be anywhere and, you know what I'm saying, get murdered.
At the Victoria Boulevard Library in Hampton.
Just come here to try to just put my thoughts together, and just to reflect.
At a table in a quiet second-floor room.
Losing a child is just, it's unexplainable.
You'll find Margaret Eady, who's been in the same spot almost every day for the last 2 years. Not by choice. Eady lost her son, Jonathan Coles, to gun violence in May 2014.
Man who did this, he shot my son in the eye, and it blew his brains out. He was dead instantly.
She's now on a mission to make sure no other mother feels that pain again.
You can go right outside in 5 minutes and find a gun, and that's ridiculous. It shouldn't be like that, you know? I'm totally concerned about what's going to happen next.
Eady has channeled her anger to pen and paper. Started a group called Mothers Against Murdered Sons and Daughters, and is developing a plan she thinks can help turn things around.
And it's to support the mothers who have been a victim.
She has pages and pages of notes, suggestions to take to local lawmakers.
You got to change the policy makers. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, get them out and get people in there that's going to do something for us. My son is not a political stunt.
Recently, Eady and other parents from around the country protested gun violence in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. She ended up being arrested. She was hoping lawmakers would help solve this epidemic.
If I have to go stand in front of the White House with a sign up there, you know, saying enough is enough, so be it.
She knows the process is complicated, but she says someone has to start somewhere.
I'm going to keep working. It may be one child that, you know, is not affected by gun violence. It could be 100 children, but no more of them. It has to stop.
Straight ahead, I'll show you the faces of violence here in Hampton Roads in 2016 when Taking Back the Community returns. Welcome back to 10 on Your Side's Taking Back the Community. We wanted to show you the reason why we took on this initiative, or should I say, reasons. These are all the people who have been killed in our viewing area by senseless violence here in 2016. People like Hampton's Alex Blizzard. He was found dead in his car, shot and killed. His killer still on the loose. We're talking about brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, grieving families left behind, families still wanting to know what happened. They want to know what happened to Lillian Bond. I mean, they know that she was shot and killed simply taking out her trash in Norfolk, but they don't know the reason why. We've had 94 people killed in our viewing area in 2016, way too many, and we're going to continue to take back the community until we find solutions.
Yeah, it's so hard to see all of those faces and know the families as well. 10 on Your Side will continue to bring you stories of hope and those doing work in their communities.
Crime affects us all, just as it does you. We leave you tonight with a message from our crews in the front lines who, like you, are deeply affected by these eruptions of violence.
You're constantly seeing these families grieving, and it never stops. It always hurts. It always impacts you here. Even if you have a mic in your hand, it always impacts you here. Always.
The people committing the crimes are long gone when we show up and we see the family and we see the pain that they go through. We see the heartbroken mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters.
It feels tiring to see it all the time, and I think what impacts me the most is when I see children who are around that and children who seem immune to it, children for whom this is normal. That's what's the most sad to me.
You're seeing the snapshot of someone's life within the span of an hour, and you're seeing the worst of everything that could happen to someone or to a family in an hour. And all you want to do is be able to help them or do something or comfort them in some way or turn back the clock and stop it from happening at all.
My uncle last year was actually murdered, and there are no words really that you can say. There are comforting words that people try to say, but you really don't understand unless you've ever been there.
If you're helping to take back our community or know someone who is, contact 10 on Your Side through the information on your screen.